Hey guys, it's Frankie here. I want to show you guys how you can build a website that is basically like your restoration salesperson that is going out there and digitally selling, like actually hiring your company and getting jobs. Let me show you just a couple of examples so you can see really quickly. These are some recent sites that we've built. This one right here is a pack out and contents restoration, but you guys get the idea. This one is a carpet cleaning one. This is a restoration professional, and obviously we can customize this and build this to any way you want, but I wanted to show you kind of our standard approach to it, and then we can modify it to suit however you want, however it customizes for you. I find before we get rocking and rolling, one of the mistakes that I think people make with websites, especially in restoration, is they're just basically glorified business cards. And what I mean by a glorified business card is like a business card basically has company name, contact info, list of services. And it's really that. And I've seen a lot of websites, they look pretty, they're nice, but like from a selling perspective, from like actually getting your company hired, they're basically just like a digital business card. And so we like to think of building websites as a different process. Is it's like a Google optimized digital salesperson. And so like somebody who's going to go out there and every day sell your services and have like a well-crafted pitch. And there's always two goals that we're going for simultaneously. And one of those is we want to give you a site, as mentioned, that like actually makes people pick up the phone and call you and like book you for restoration jobs so that you get work for your crews and your teams, and you get paid basically, but also simultaneously appeases Google. And Google has their own objectives. They want fast load time. They want sites that are optimized for what they say they're optimized for. They want to see images optimized, like things like that. They want a certain site architecture. So we have both the humans and the robots to please, and we like to think about those there. Even though there's a lot of overlap, sometimes the goals and objectives are a little bit different, and building a site that simultaneously does both of those things. So I'll show you what our standard approach to this. Now again, we can customize it. We can build it as big or as small as you like, but I want to show you some of the things that we feel are important to include on a website. So one of those first things is to capture. Like I see these websites that are this long block of content and written words, but like the whole point of it is like to make somebody pick up the phone and call. So we start with that. We start with buttons and calls to action and things that are designed to get somebody to pick up the phone, whether that's like fill out a form and somebody from our team will contact you, or give us a call, or text us. And again, like we can do this whole bunch of things, or we can actually even build like little chat bots so somebody can have like a live conversation, depending on what you want to do with that. But idea being is like the goal of the website, the whole point of it is to drive actions. And then we can include list of services. So at the top here, I'm showing the three most common ones we see: water, fire, and mold. I'm assuming you do at least those three. We can also go as big or as small as you like. So here's an example of a bigger one, and this is for somebody who like really wants to dominate in SEO. Obviously, this costs a little bit more. I'll show you guys prices and stuff in just a second, but the water, the fire, like they have broken it down like water emergencies, flooding basements, drying, dehumidification, frozen burst pipes, water extraction. Then they got all the subheadings of fire and wind, and they got commercial. This is for when you want to be like absolutely dominant in the Google machine. And like a bigger site makes more sense because it just gives people more ways to find you, right? Like if they're searching, I have a frozen or burst pipe, they'll land on the frozen or burst pipe page. If they got a flooded basement, they'll land on the flooded basement. If they got wind damage, they'll end up on the wind damage page. So it's kind of like that. But at the bare minimum, we recommend at least having like your core services: water, fire, mold, whatever else it is you offer. Also an FAQ. This is twofold because it shows people you've done this before, and so therefore like sells your work. But also like you don't want to be answering the same shit over and over. At least I don't typically like answering the same questions, and so you want your website to be the person who actually answers the questions. So what's going to happen, blah blah blah, things like that. The things you see over and over again, and that way you can control the answer and you don't depend on reps and a phone person, because the digital salesperson will give that presentation perfectly every single time, right? Because it's the same presentation. Then also highlighting your unique selling points. So, there's a lot of things we can include: your fast response time, your speed, your 24/7, that you work with different insurance carriers, whatever it is. You do good work, things like that. And, but highlighting the points where you're different. And then this is a thing that like we all do, but I think is worth mentioning on a site. Whoops, let's go backwards here, a slide, which is insurance carriers. Chances are like anybody who like, will actually just pay you, you'll work with, but the thing is, the end consumer doesn't know that. They don't know that, hey, do you guys work with Nationwide? And of course, you probably, have done 100 Nationwide jobs already, but they don't know that. And so we like to put a little section that just highlights we work with all, and list as many of the major insurance carriers as we can, just so they see their own label and go, oh, okay, these guys will work with me. It helps just put their mind at ease and sort of trust you a little bit more. Now, the next two pieces I'm going to show you are the ones that actually make people believable, or make people pick up the phone and actually call you, because they add believability. If you think about like a lawyer going to court, I've done a lot of like white label work with lawyers over the years, as well as like in the restoration space. And one of the things about lawyers is they say you can't just say something in court. You always have to bring evidence. You always have to bring proof. Like, you can't just say, hey, I was hurt in a car accident. You have to have the bill. You have to have pictures. You have to have documentation that says you are who you say you are. So the best kind of proof is what other people are saying about you. So we like to put your reviews, your testimonials, whatever you got, whatever the best stuff that other people are saying you, put it right on your website, because it will do the talking for you. Now, the other kind of proof that I think is most neglected is this other one right here, which is before and after pictures. And you guys have probably already taken pictures just to document the process for your insurance claims. But it's so much more powerful if you have like before and after pictures side by side. Because it's one thing to say, hey, we do great quality work. It's another thing to show a picture of it. A picture is so much more believable. Again, it's like evidence in a case. So we like to incorporate both of those things. Your reviews, your before and after pictures. When people see that, suddenly you're the real deal. You're the expert. You know what you're doing. And then, of course, lastly, it's just having a service area map and then showing people which areas you cover. Sounds small, but you'd be amazed. A lot of times people won't pick up in the phone and call you, because if they see like, hey, you do the major city and they're like 40 miles out, they're like, oh, they wouldn't come here because they're 40 miles out. But chances are, if the job's worthwhile, you'll drive 40 miles. So we like to just answer that question right on the website by putting a service area. And then as well, telling your story. You and your team, like, why are you doing this? Who you guys are, things like that. People like to do business with real people. So we like to include pictures of you, your team, your van, whatever you got, whatever the best available stuff is, and then showcase it, because you're real people, you do real good work, you stand behind it, and also allows you to present yourself as that professional, and a little bit of like just humanness and being relatable. Um, so as well, like, those are some of the standard things we like to include, but we can also build almost anything. Like, we can build an unlimited number of service pages depending on how many services you want to do. And then typically every site we have has a contact page, an about us page, a list of your services. And then also some people like to add a blog. The blog is optional. Depends what you're trying to do with SEO, things like that. But we can incorporate the blog. We can also publish blog posts for you if you're interested in getting a package for that kind of thing. So if that sounds like you, if our websites kind of tickle you a little bit there, let me tell you what we'll get. Obviously, the finished end product will be you get a professional website, and we go until you're completely happy with it. Typical time is 2 to 8 weeks, and on the turnaround. And the biggest actual factor in how long the turnaround takes is you. And what I mean by that is, if we get it first draft and you're super stoked with it, then 2 weeks, like, we'll be done this thing. Sometimes, like it'll be 80-90% finished, but like, hey, I want this color to be there. Can you make the logo a little bigger? Can you move this over there? I kind of don't like the feel of that. Can we modify that? So sometimes the last 10-20%, there's back and forth. And especially, if you're busy, like working and stuff like that, it might take some time. The cost, typically for a starter website, as I've kind of shown you in here, I've shown you guys the basics of our starter website, starts at about $2,500. If you want to have like a lot of service pages, we've gone as high as $8,000, but most of the range are $2,500 to $8,000. How we typically work is 50% down. So we don't start work until like we have a 50% kind of deposit, and then payment plans for the rest. So if you're getting like a starter website, it's $1,200 to get started today. And then we can do payments as low as like $99 a month until it's paid off. We don't even charge you interest. But we have flexible financing options for that. As long as we have a little bit of money to pay our guys, we're happy to help. And then I should mention that the hosting and domain registration are separate. So like, if you want to buy abcrestoration.com We're not a domain register. Like everybody who buys a domain on the internet has to pay for it. They're usually like 10, $20 a year. They're nothing crazy, but like that's something totally separate. And then you have to have a place to host your website. We do have hosting available. Our stuff is $59 a month, and you get a private server that is basically the fastest, cheapest private server you can get for $59 a month. And we'll set that up for you. But if you want, like, there's any number of hosting options out there as well. Nobody's forcing you to use us or anything like that. If you like to just keep it simple and easy, but I should mention those will be separate costs in addition to what we're doing. And this is something that just everybody pays. It like I pay it on my own stuff. There's nothing we can do. We just got to pay for the domain registrar and hosting. But just thought I'd let you know. Then communication. So the most amount of communication we'll do on this is when we get your initial info. Then you'll get an update in 10 to 14 days, and we keep going until you're happy. And most of what the communication will be is really two things: is, hey, we need something from you, pictures, images, things like that, or what, send us your logo, something like that. And or the flip side of that is if it's not we need something from you, it's like, hey, what do you think of this current version of it? We made some changes. What do you think of the changes? And typically, by the way, we don't need access to your stuff right away. We build a test site over so you can see the test site on our own servers. And then when you're happy with it, then we migrate it. That way there's no downtime. And the migration takes like 10 minutes. So once you're happy with it, we'll just migrate it over. The site will be down for 10 minutes, but no big deal. And then we switch it over. And then I should mention, a lot of times when people build this stuff, they don't stand behind it. I always kind of like feel like that's douchey, but ours includes 2 hours per month of updates. And for most of you guys, what you're going to need is less than that. It's just, can you update this? Can you move a color? Can you change this color? Can you modify the menu a little bit? Can you add a page? Can you delete this page? Things like that. Those are pretty quick things at our end, even though I know it probably would take, obviously somebody who doesn't work online or something like that would be a lot longer. But for most of you guys, that'll cover 100% of like the updates you need. If for some reason you need more, we can quote you a package, but they're very reasonable. But most of you guys will get all the unlimited updates you need on that site. And then what we need from you, like as I mentioned, images, list of things you offer, feedback in a timely fashion. And then at some point we will need access to be able to migrate your stuff over. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, we have a form on our website. Just fill it out. Somebody on our team, either myself or one of our reps will contact you, and we can get started and put together a quote for you depending on what you're actually trying to build. But I wanted to give you an idea of just like kind of what everything entails and what's involved. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll talk to you guys soon.